You may have the best heart, the best program, or be the best local trainer or health coach. But if you haven't figured out ways to market your health and coaching business consistently, effectively, then no one knows about you. I'm Dara Atkinson. You're listening to She Means Fitness Business, where a show sponsored by my overarching brand, Voice for Fitness. And we know here that you want to be an inspirational example to midlife women. In order to do that, you need a profitable health and fitness coaching business. And the problem is usually a lack of clients, which makes you feel uncertain about whether you can succeed. We believe you deserve consistent, dependable revenue from clients who love. We understand how it feels because, well, I've been there too, which is why I now train fitness professionals internationally. Here's how I do it. I meet with you on a call. So it's time. Book a call. We create a plan of action, and then we celebrate your growth. So book a call with me now, and in the meantime, get your business scorecard. We'll put that in the show notes so you can stop feeling like your dream is slipping away while other less qualified and less heart-centered coaches make sales and get more clients. And instead, you easily increase your revenue by at least $5,000 a month in your first 90 days. So, I'm Deborah Atkinson. Let's dive right into this episode because right now, as I release it anyway, it's the end of one year and the beginning of a new. And there are more health coaches than ever. It's booming, but they're not all full. Let's have you be the anomaly. There are dozens of ways for you to market your health coaching business here. In this, listen through it. This is not meant to or intended to be an overwhelming list that you have to do all of. Some are direct, others are indirect. Indirectly marketing means you're not just sharing your freebie. That still feels a little like someone you've never met stalking you for a date. You have no reason or motivation to get a freebie, let alone to those of you who are posting on social media your programs and hoping people will register right from social media. That strategy, unfortunately, would get on the top 20 ways to kill your organic marketing list. Indirectly, marketing your freebie means you're sharing it, but you're leading with some other very generous offer first. And did you know? We no longer require 7 touches before someone will know, like, and trust you, potentially even enough to give you an email, let alone buy from you. It now takes 21, some others say 28. Yeah, that many times in front of somebody. They have to see your post. They may see an ad. They may have an email in their inbox, but they've got to see it over and over and over before they will ever take action. And some many more times than that. And they're not seeing every post you painstakingly made on social media. People have lives. They don't wait for your next post or your email or your video. So create, yes, and then share, send, and resend when they didn't open. Be purposeful, have a plan, and it's then that these will get your wheels, your creative juices flowing. You can return to this list, this podcast, or the show notes only over and over. It's not a checklist suggesting you need to do them all. Again, I can't help but repeat that. But you do need number 1, and then you need to give it wheels, as many of the additional simple ways to market your health and fitness coaching business will. So number 1 is create a freebie. And if you have a freebie, but nobody wants it, create a new one, right? So the key is, have you listened well enough to your ideal dream customer to know what freebie they will find absolutely irresistible? So where do you post it? Not just hidden on your website, by the way. Post it in your blogs, tuck it into your podcast show notes. Use it on your interviews. When somebody says, where's the best place for people to get a hold of you? Use the URL that gets them specifically to that and say, well, yes, they can find me here. And by the way, I've got a free gift for your audience here. Juicy, right? That's what you want to do every time you get booked. And be sure that you don't make this mistake. You make a freebie and then you leave it. Or this mistake. You make a freebie and then you make another and then you make another, because that's serial entrepreneurship, by the way. And I had that too, and I kicked it to the curb because it doesn't help you. Stick with your freebie. If it's no good, don't just go build another one. In fact, make sure this freebie is so juicy, it's bringing you tons of leads every day, and then keep nurturing it, keep sharing it, and build another one that equally does the same. And slightly, or to a slightly different audience, to a woman who's still your dream client, but might bite on something slightly different. And that's the juicy part of having more than one freebie. So promote it, drive traffic to it or them in ways that I'll share as I read further down, and paid traffic too, depending on your budget. But I promise you this, if you don't spend something at some point on paid traffic, you will never have paid customers that make that smart and wise. So you do have to put something out there to get out if you are absolutely sure this is so helpful for people, it changes their lives. I've got testimonials that prove it for a small audience that consistently and repeatably I can get predictable results. Then by all means, you should be advertising. Watch your conversions every week. How many people opt in for your freebie? If you create anything that nobody wants, you've wasted time. So be sure you base what you make on your customer wants. You want to keep tweaking till you know the conversion rate. That's the number of people who land on the page where you offer your freebie, and the number of people who land on your thank you page. And the difference between the two tells you what's the conversion rate after they're presented with that freebie. You want to make sure that's high before you go create another one or leave it, abandon it. It's potentially just, maybe it's the title, maybe it's the content, but they haven't seen the content yet, remember, before they opt in. So it's the word you're using to describe it, it's the transformation you're promising, or it's the title. Maybe it's the image, but something about it is not sexy enough that they want it. Not many things on this list that I'm about to share will market your health and fitness coaching business in the way that an optimal freebie will. It's going to be true for a very long time. Okay, so buckle your seatbelt. So starting with number 2, here we go. Add a pop-up on your website that goes to the freebie. So of course, you're going to have a page dedicated to your freebie, and all that's on it is, hey, you, your ideal client, here's what I'm going to promise you. That's what your book delivers, the transformation, not the checklist of 10 things, but the transformation those 10 things give. The opt-in to put their name, their email address, promise that you won't share their email list. That's it. No distractions. But on every other page of your website, if they start scrolling as if they're exiting, you want to pop up. They can be a nuisance. Trust me. I mean, there are certain sites where, but you can also program many of them depending on what plugin you use so that they pop up only once when somebody's about to leave, and if they're on your page again or a different page, they're not going to pop up. So you can find the most effective but least intrusive. Examples of pop-ups are in the show notes, by the way, but here's where they would be placed. Like they're announcing something special that you happen to be doing right now. Or they would say, are you leaving before you go? And then you're saying, hey, here's my freebie. You probably want to get this. Or get on the notifications list. So maybe they're leaving a page for a program that's closed. Say, hey, before you go, if you want on the notifications list to be notified when this first goes on sale and get a coupon for $200 off, here you go. So that's pretty juicy, right? I would do that. So if we were doing that and our Flipping 50 menopause fitness specialist was closed and we do that at certain times, then we often will create a notifications list. And if somebody's on that list, we will give them a $200 off coupon so that when it's first open and we announce it, we'll send an email to them and say, hey, because you were first here you go. Use it now, 3 days. It's expiring. So go. Right. But that's an example of a juicy pop-up. So there's also, did you forget? Like there's something in the cart. Are you forgetting? You put something in there. But those are very effective. I know they've worked for me on other sites. I'm including those 3 images of different pop-ups in the show notes to give you ideas. And yes, they can be annoying, but again, they do work. All right. Next, create content that lives forever. Be ready. This is coming at you rapid fire. So first of all, start a blog. I'm going to share a link to a 5-minute blog strategy, meaning you can write or outline so that somebody else could actually do the legwork, go get the research for you and write it. You can just talk it. It can be transcribed. Or you can literally say, I want to write a blog post on this. Here are the main points that I want to hit. I want you to go find studies that support that. Okay. Write an article or a post for someone else. So for their website or for a news publication. Create a video. And a video can be like a blog. So you can actually embed that in your website. And it can also live on YouTube. So you're creating a YouTube channel. YouTube is an SEO magnet. So you want to make sure you're getting found not just from your website, but you're also getting found now from a search engine. Start a podcast. Now, I know that a lot of people during COVID, during the pandemic, started podcasts, and a lot more people also started listening to them. So that was happening for a good reason. What you want to make sure that you're doing is do your homework first. What are you creating a podcast on? How is yours different and unique? What is the promise that you're giving to any listeners who would tune in that they won't get elsewhere? So, if there are other podcasts in your demographic, the genre that you're wanting to start one in, that's a good sign. Don't run away because that's true, because it says there is demand for what it is you're talking about. But again, go deep. So this is like a niche. You don't want to be just, number 227 of podcasts for this, area. But what is specific about what you're doing? Every time you post a new blog, a video, podcast, insert a quote unquote, we call native call to action for your freebie, as long as it's a relevant topic. And then create a slice of that content, like your podcast is on the 5 things that you might want to eat before a workout, right? And take one of those things and say, hey, here's an example of a perfect snack go-to before your workout. Share that on 5 different platforms with a graphic. Now you're driving traffic back to your podcast. Inside of that podcast in the podcast notes is something that takes them directly to your freebie. So what have you given them? A great tip for free. They want to go a little deeper and know more. You gave them 1, there it's 5. They want 4 others. They're going to come back and get that. That was free that you gave them. That was juicy. And then, of course, I want to take the next step. Like, how do I get the most out of my workout from your freebie? So just painting the picture, so very important, but it's all reverse engineering from what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do next? How is this related or connected? So you can go back and do this for every one of the posts or blogs or videos that you already have. You want to continue to share them once you create them. You share over and over and over. You create just once. So right now, I've been in business for 10 years, specifically with Flipping 50, now for 40 beyond that. And so I have articles and blog posts from decades. Now, not all that science is still very relevant, but those are all the start of a new blog, an update, here's the old and here's the new. And this is the way we think about that now. So if you're stuck in the past, right? So I have tons of content. I really would never, ever need to create anything more. But if you tell me, serial entrepreneurial creator, that, I would probably cry. So I will potentially continue to create, and maybe you will too, but you don't have to. So realize this. I've also written a book. If you've written a book or a long article, you have social media content for miles, and you want to use it to drive them back to that big book. You've got gold. Now you just need to harvest it. So the gold here is that as long as the content is still relevant, the science is still true, or as I mentioned, you're going to talk about why it's changed, you can and you should continue to drive traffic to it regularly. Examples of these simple ways to market your health and fitness coaching business in action are these. I have a strength training video on YouTube. That video came out of a Flipping 50 TV episode and out of a simple routine that I used to do for joint replacement, like pre knee replacement for many of my clients, and then post joint replacement. So it's pre and post, prehab and rehab. And I knew how popular it was with my clients and very effective, as simple and no sweat as it was. This knee strengthening video created, I can't even remember if it was like 2013 or 14, maybe 15. It has millions of views. It is one of the most popular. I think Batwings beats that out shortly. But there's 5 or 6 exercises. I can and I should share one of those exercises in a short video post and tell them that to go get the rest of the exercises, they can watch the full length video here, quote unquote, or at the link in my bio. And I can be sharing that in my stories over and over again, right? With a direct link. I can also share a study about, like a research study about omega-3s and inflammation in knees, that I happen to have in my arsenal, and suggest if they want other ways to exercise for relief that they watch the video. So while I'm sharing a free social media post to another free full-length video, in order to finally get them to opt in with a freebie option and subscribe to my email list, it often takes that kind of chain reaction. Like, here's the give and here's the give. And, next, if you want to take the logical next step is this, right? So it needs to make sense. Earn their trust, stay with them. They'll stay with you if they enjoy your voice. They feel like I could listen to this. Or I could read her, right? Depending on the format you're choosing. It takes that. Remember that only 85% of consumers make a 85 make a slower decision than the 15% of us who may jump in right away. If you have tons of blogs, create a book using them. Literally, each blog post can be a chapter. I did this for one of my books, and it's like $7, but we sell them every week. So why wouldn't you do that? Is it, a big earner on I just literally did, my product sales on individual products for the year, because that informs what are we doing next year? What actually is that took a lot of time, but it didn't make us much money. What do we want to get rid of? What do we want to improve and tweak? And what do we want to start? But I know, little things like that just sit there. We're not even promoting and it's earning money for us, because when somebody is in the checkout and it's like, oh, I could just add this $7 little book and it's not going to take me very long to read. So they will often just grab it as an extra. Think about little things that you can do. So the book could also be your freebie. Be careful about it. Don't get too long with your freebies, because people want those freebies. They can be consumed like in 5 minutes. They can offer an answer. Next, be a guest. You could be a guest on the Flipping 50 podcast. You could be a guest on the She Means Fitness Business podcast, we could highlight you. But if there's someone else that you would love to be the featured guest on, who is it? Set your sights on it. Start creating a relationship. Every time you're a guest on someone's stage or podcast or summit, share your freebie with a juicy description of what the promise is. It's not a PDF, it's a solution to a problem your audience has, right? Okay. Next, ask for a referral. So, your current members, your current students, ask them to give you a paid client, right? Ask one person for a referral. Don't send some kind of broadcast to a group of everybody in your email, your whole group, and say, hey, do you have a friend? I'd love a referral. No, it's not going to work. Talk to one person and ask them for a referral. Do you have a friend? Do you have a sister or colleague who would benefit? And would you like to give us an introduction? I'd be happy to, on your behalf, give them a complimentary 30-minute session to talk or explore about their needs and how I could serve them. So you make it very clear that yes, I mean, you are going to be talking about moving forward into a relationship, that they would choose wisely. And you are very transparent, but you're also going to make sure that they feel heard and served no matter what. So tell them how to do this. This is something you need to do. Give them the exact words. So make sure that you're saying, what I'd love for you to say is, hey, I'm working with this coach. I have found it very effective and helpful for accountability. Here's some of the successes I've had. If you're looking for somebody to work with, my coach has offered to give for free a 30-minute appointment to talk about what the options might be. Are you interested? That's the best way. Share success stories and testimonials. When you do this, how you get your testimonials matters. It's not an accident. So you want to be asking the right questions, telling them exactly how they give you a testimonial. People love actually the help and the guidance. There are questions you absolutely want to ask, and there are questions that you don't want to ask. So if you want help collecting your testimonials, I will link you to another podcast that talks about unlikely testimonials that are jackpots for us. Next up, sponsor an event. Events are always looking for business partners who then get their name, say, on the t-shirt or the advertisement or the bus, or they get to talk in an event. Explore how much it would cost you and the visibility that you would have and how you could monetize it. So here's what this looks like. I sponsored an event for $12,500. And I was a keynote speaker, had a vendor at the booth, and gave a workout one morning before a session. Now, the vendor at a booth, I mean, that was kind of a given with it. I don't know that I love doing that kind of thing because it's awkward to go stand out there. But the workout in the morning, I absolutely wanted to do because, of course, coming into programming, anybody who would become a client, coaching client privately or a group client, I could demonstrate to them exactly what kind of cueing, what kind of care, what kind of humor they were going to get from me. I absolutely said, yes, I will do that. I paid for my sponsorship multiple times over in the revenue from new clients and students that continue to be part of programs today. So recurring memberships annually, they're continuing to pay those. So don't dismiss these paid opportunities to be in front of dream live audiences. They may be far better investments for you, in fact, than paying for Facebook or Google ads that may or may not be very on target. Next up, brand it. Consider putting your own brand name and logo on a t-shirt and then wear it every time you're on camera. Strategically, you want to make sure placement of the logo is clear and legible and probably higher than you might ordinarily have it on a t-shirt. I was on with a colleague recently and watched a replay clip of us that he shared with his audience. And in it, he had his branded t shirt on. And while I was in bright colors and my brand colors, he was a billboard in his shirt for his business, as well as in the graphics that framed the clip. So it was consistent, consistent, consistent. And it was brilliant. And so, of course, I shared that clip with my audience, but I'm sharing, right, his brand again with my audience. So I go to the gym or I run errands regularly wearing a visor. Why wouldn't I get a branded visor made? And in fact, I do have one. There are dozens of ways that you can apply this. Next up is be a vendor. Now, I just mentioned earlier when you sponsor something, you often are automatically given a vendor booth, but you can also just be a vendor with a booth, not do the speaking thing. It's going to be much more economical for you. But at a health fair or a women's event, kids events, think about where would your customer be? If your customer, for instance, is a parent of elementary school kids hosting or being a vendor at a health fair or kids carnival, is probably not a bad idea, right? Because you see all those parents. So think about where you should be, not just health fairs, but other places where your business would be welcome, maybe where you'll stand out even more. Sure, there's a fee, but if it's your specific demographic, it's probably a lot better way to spend money than the same on just social media ads. Next is you host a program for your own church or some other church. I lived in Ames, Iowa for almost 30 years of my adult life. And I think I gave programs at many of the churches. They all have a women's group. And there are women's philanthropical organizations. It's like a women's sorority outside of college. And there are multiples of them in every town. So out of a specific group called PEO, there, I believe in Ames alone were 26 different groups. I think I presented over the course of my 30 years to multiples of them and to some more than once. And then there's Rotary and there's Kiwanis. And every time somebody has a meeting, there is a program. Contact women's organizations in the late spring and the early summer. That's the best time about doing a program for them next year. That's when organizations are wrapping up for the summer, new officers are installed, and it's that new vice president or the education chair that has the task of deciding the programs for the next calendar year before the fall programs are printed. So that's your window of opportunity. When the programs are printed, they've already filled them. Sometimes organizations, specifically women's philanthropic ones, they have multiple divisions in the same city. So beware and pull out your Rolodex and find out who to call. Next, market your health and fitness business with radio exposure. And I'm going to double up on that. So TV exposure is much the same. Contact the local radio and TV stations. Ask for the producer. When they say which producer, say the producer that books guests. Okay. And that should be enough. It'll get you to the right place. But there are so many things you can talk about a month or a day. It's sleep awareness month. It's stress awareness month. It's osteoporosis day. It's menopause month. There are many, many reasons why you can get yourself on, and it's relevant and it's timely, and they need to fill slots all the time. So give them what they need, make their job easy. Say, I've got 4 questions that they can ask me. Here's my bio. Here's my title. And I can come on and do these demonstrations. That also is gold. So if you are a health and fitness professional, the advantage is it's moving and it's not just a head and shoulders segment. So it's super fun for them. Double your reach by creating a buddy pass. So if you already have clients joining your programs, whether you're paid or your freebies, give them a buddy pass to share with a friend for 50% off. You want to tie this to some kind of reward for the one who shares it. She wants to save too, right? So you can do this for special product right off the bat, buy one, get the second at 50% off, and say instead of each option costing $50, the two can join for $75. Make gift giving easy. All right. So Mother's Day, Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries, they're all perfect opportunities for gift certificates or special promotions, but don't stop there. It's not really special if you say, spend your gift money here. Instead, sweeten the pot, include a package they can wrap up, send an actual book, not a PDF. A journal or a set of bands, a t-shirt, a sweat towel, a small ball for, joining your program. Make it something that you'll incorporate into your workouts or to the coaching. And then include $10 off or $50 off a next step program for the gift recipient too. So you're not just getting a new client sale, you're increasing the chance that they'll make a second purchase and planting that seed for them too. So, by the way, back to buddy passes and gift giving ease. These are ways to market your health and fitness business. They are, but only if you talk about them. So if they just sit somewhere cold next to your shopping cart on your website, they're really not all that effective at marketing. So you've got to be sharing those. Share them to your stories regularly. Right now it's Christmas time. Share. There are those people who are not done yet, even if there are only 3 days left, right? So, and people always need last minute gifts for Mother's Day, Christmas, anniversaries. It's inevitably, right? So make it easy. If your ideal target market's following you, invite them to share the news with their gift buyers, gift givers. Or be sure that you know who you're talking to when you post or email. In the gift case, you'd potentially be targeting partner or daughter or son. You have to give that some thought. Okay, next and last, attend training with other business owners. The networking with business owners that you can do alone can be worth the cost of your attending. And this could be as small as attending your Chamber of Commerce business networking breakfast once a month, but it can today be virtual. And if your business is virtual, even better. Yesterday, in fact, on day one of a 2-day training on business skills, even a marketing fitness for 35 years, I still invest in learning, getting coached myself. In our small group, we had a chance to hear each other, and everyone in my group needed what I have. And when you have your radar open to every situation that you're in, there's a potential to meet others who need your services. It can happen organically, even if not them, their wives, their moms, their daughters, or a corporate presentation could be waiting for you. There you are. How to market your health and fitness coaching business. That's where you'll find the show notes. fitnessmarketingmastery.com. Market your health and fitness coaching business. What are you waiting for? There's a ton of ideas here. The goal, if you have a freebie and you love it, go on and choose one more to start with that. If you don't have a freebie that works, that you love, that you're proud of, and talk about all the time, go and fix that first. What are you waiting for? The world needs us now more than ever.